Well, I'm Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, and I'm here with supporters of our great Congressman, Mike McMahon. He's a freshman, but you'd think he was a senior member given the impact of what he's accomplished and how hard he's worked and all the good things he's accomplished for Brooklyn and Staten Island. And he is an independent thinker. He is a leader already in Congress. And as one of Mike's colleagues, I'm here to just show my strong support for all of his hard work. I am standing with the two twin towers of New York, the fire officers and firefighters, and they are providing a lot of firepower to his re-election with their great support. And we are here because of his leadership on the 9/11 Health and Compensation Bill. This is a critical bill for our great city, but particularly for Staten Island. We lost 220 brave firefighters and fire officers. And Marty Fullman, a great hero, is here. We thank him for his service. There's so many wonderful people that risked their lives and lost their lives for saving others. And we're here in front of the Firefighters and Fire Officers Memorial for 9/11. We know that on 9/11 we lost almost 3,000 people, but thousands and thousands more lost their health. And what this bill does is it provides monitoring for everyone exposed to the deadly toxins and treatment for everyone who is sick, and it opens up the Victims' Compensation Fund. It is the least we can do for all of our heroes and veterans of the first war against terror. And we need to take care of them. They were there to take care of us. And we need to take care of one of our great leaders in Congress and make sure he returns to pass this bill, which we passed in the House. We need to get it through the Senate, but many other bills that have helped our economy, grown jobs and prosperity for our city. I'd like to really introduce the Uniform Fire Officers Association, Richard Allies. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your leadership. Richard.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you. I'm here with fellow Executive Board member Captain John Dunn, and on behalf of our President Al Hagan and the Uniformed Fire Officers Association Executive Board, we're pleased to endorse Congressman Mike McMahon for re-election to the 13th District. Thank you. Mike has been a strong leader for the people of Staten Island and Brooklyn. And recently, his efforts managed to get Staten Island, Queens, and Brooklyn listed as a disaster area after the severe storms that we had on September 16th. He's a strong supporter of Social Security, including in his advocacy for a check for $250 to our senior citizens as a cost of living adjustment. Mike has been instrumental in his support for introducing the Traumatic Brain and Injury Coverage and Support Act. This bill will cut the red tape for our veterans that are suffering from brain injuries. And then, of course, as Congresswoman Maloney mentioned, the 9/11 Health and Compensation Act. When 343 firefighters and fire officers, EMS workers, and police officers died that day, I think a lot of people thought that that was going to be the end. And it's not. We've had hundreds of our members forced into retirement due to respiratory illnesses. We have cancers, and it will continue. And when the book is finally closed on that terrorist attack, it'll be impossible to measure the amount of tragedy in everyone's life. I had the privilege of sitting in Speaker Nancy Pelosi's box on September 29th when the bill was voted at the House of Representatives. And I have to say that we as New Yorkers are very fortunate to have a tight-knit New York delegation, including Congresswoman Maloney, as well as Congressman McMahon. And if you've ever seen a bill debated on the floor, it's quite extraordinary. But time is of the essence. You have a limited amount of time in which to speak. So the team leader that day, Congressman Jerry Nadler, had to make a choice. He could only choose a few congressmen and women. One is Congresswoman Maloney, and the other was Mike McMahon. And I truly believe that their words, their passion, their eloquence on the floor managed to get his victory that day. The first time the bill came to the floor, months before that, it was voted down. Not one Republican vote. That day, they reached across the aisle and we had 17 Republican votes. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a huge stretch. So for all those reasons, I urge all the citizens of Staten Island and Brooklyn to re-elect Congressman McMahon and send him back to Washington.
Thank you. Great statement. Uniform EMT, Patrick Bonkin. Patrick. Yay, Patrick.
How you doing? For the 3,000 EMTs and paramedics and fire inspectors in the New York City Fire Department, it's very simple for us. And that is that Mike McMahon gets it, as does Congresswoman Maloney. We need strong voices down in Washington, people that understand that working men and women were not responsible for what happened to this nation's economy. There are a lot of people out there pointing fingers at working men and women like you see here today, saying they're to blame. Those greedy people are to blame. It wasn't us. Nobody gave me a multi-$100 million bailout. Mike gets it. The working men and women need a voice in Washington. They need a strong voice, like Mike McMahon. Every day, EMTs, paramedics are getting sick and dying from the effects of the World Trade Center. Over the summer, in one 4-week period, we had 3 EMS personnel die from cancer. And it continues. More and more people are getting diagnosed. People are getting sicker. The time to act is now. And New York needs that strong voice, as we see in Congresswoman Maloney, and we need to send Mike McMahon back. The people of Staten Island have no idea how strong an advocate they have in this man. The people in Brooklyn have no idea how strong a voice this man holds for working men and women. And we're going to do everything we can to ensure that he goes back there. Thank you.
Fire alarm dispatchers, Brian Kuntz. Brian. Hey, Brian. Thank you. Great.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to be very brief, but to the point. Come out, vote for McMahon. As everybody, I'm just going to echo everybody's sentiments here that he's done tremendous work for the firefighters, the EMTs, police department, and just for the working class people of New York, of Staten Island and Brooklyn. And we're proud to endorse him, as is the rest of the fire department unions. And come out and vote. Get him out.
Thanks. And representing Uniform Firefighters Association, Don Ruland.